register because every vote counts. The Commission has also called on communities to not impede on other people's rights and to keep the election process peaceful. Now, to talk to us in studio, we are joined by Deputy Chairperson of the Independent Electoral Commission, Terry Tselane. Good morning, Terry. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Why is it still important for South Africans to register?
It is important because if a person is not registered, that person will not be able to participate in the electoral process. And obviously the elections are important in terms of enabling a person to determine their own destiny.
And do you think people are becoming more aware of the importance of registering to vote?
I think the fact that we've got now close to 26 million people registered on our voters' roll is a clear illustration that people take their vote very seriously and they want to participate in the process. However, there are still a few others who are out there who are still not registered, and hence the importance of having a weekend like this where we can be able to get as many people as possible who qualify to register and to be able to participate in the electoral process.
And how many new voter registrations are you expecting over this weekend?
If we can get every person who qualifies, we will be very, very happy as the Electoral Commission. You may recall that last time when we went on the last registration weekend, we indicated that our target was about 1 million people, and we had close to 3.6 million people going through our processes. And since this is the last registration, we think that the numbers are going to be even much higher, and we will be happy if that happens.
So we have actually seen an increase in voter registration, which is fantastic news, of course, for the country. Now, I believe that 5 million SMSs have been sent out to a number of voters. What would happen to these voters if they don't reply to these SMSs with their address, or if they don't have proof of registration to take to the voter stations?
The category of people that we have sent SMS to are people who are already on our voters' roll. They are registered, but you may find that the information that we've got within the system is not sufficient and does not really meet the standards as set by the Constitutional Court. Remember that what the Constitutional Court has said on the 30th of November last year was that we've got to make sure that we've got the addresses of people on our voters' roll, and in situations where people do not have conventional addresses, we must have sufficient particularities. This is the information that we are using also to locate the person within the voting district. So it's an important information, but it does not disqualify a person from voting.
Okay. And if a person does not have an ID book at this point in time but still wants to register this weekend, what can these people do?
They can go to the Home Affairs offices. We have a partnership with the Department of Home Affairs, and they have indicated that their office will be open from 8 to 5 today and tomorrow. And once they apply for their ID, they will also be issued with a temporary identification certificate, and they can use that temporary identification certificate to register.
And now, of course, this week we heard that the Home Affairs has launched their online system. And how will this new online system affect the registration process or improve it?
I mean, it is obviously going to really, really help because you've got quite a number of people who want to participate in the process, and on the day of registration like today, you find that they do not actually have IDs. Now, the Home Affairs has made the system much more easier, accessible, and simpler for many people. So we think it is going to help a great deal in terms of increasing our numbers.
And there has been a number of protests around the country. We saw yesterday in Vuwani there was a protest that broke out, and as well as in this morning in Annandale, Kapok. So my question to you is, what is the IEC doing to deal with these protests?
Our first prize is a negotiated settlement between ourselves and the communities concerned, and therefore we have actually employed quite a number of mechanisms to make sure that there are conversations taking place between ourselves and the community leaders of those respective communities. And we also have employed our conflict management committees in these areas to try to see as to whether it is going to be possible for us to deal with whatever issues that are being raised, so that eventually our people can be allowed to use this platform to register. But in a situation where it is not possible, of course we've got to use the relationship we have with law enforcement agencies to make sure that no one hinders our people from taking advantage of this platform.
Yes. And for those who are still sitting at home questioning if they should go and register, and especially the young youth of South Africa, what would you have to say to them to encourage them to go and register today?
I would say this is the last registration weekend. It is important for you, for your name to be on the voters' roll. If your name is not on the voters' roll and you become excited just towards the elections and you want to participate, unfortunately you will not be able to participate. So it is important that you make sure that your name is there, and then you can take a decision at a later stage as to whether you're going to be participating or not participating. But I want to encourage you that this is an opportunity, this is a platform for you to be able to determine your own destiny by electing people that you believe will be able to represent your interests.
Thank you very much, Terry, for joining us this morning. As you hear, of course, every vote counts, and that, of course, was the Deputy Chairperson of the IEC, Terry Tselane. We'll now take a